love it. And maybe when this one gets full, I bought 3, so maybe when this one gets full, we can have another one, and maybe we'll just paint it similar and maybe put something on the edge, I don't know, and have them stacked. I don't know. I just am super pumped to, thank you guys for checking. Super pumped to do this. Now, I'm gonna start on the inside because I do want to get a coat of paint on the inside. And I know that's kind of boring, but we can chat and talk and y'all can ask questions while we do this. And I'm just gonna get one coat on the inside, and I'm gonna use a Bahama blue for that. And I do too, Joan. I like painting different stuff every now and again. We're gonna use the Bahama blue. I'm gonna just get one quick coat of paint. I'm gonna use a larger paintbrush, and then we'll have more fun on the outside. This will probably need 2 coats, but I'll do one, and then I'll do the second one tomorrow before we go live tomorrow. Now I am gonna take some sandpaper and just go along the edge and make sure there's no sticky uppies. Already did that once, but I saw some loose wood, so there's still some loose wood. All right. So I have some things I want to tell you. The SKU for the box is, Catherine, will you write this down for me or type it out? I'll repeat it a couple of times. The brand is called Woodpile. And the SKU is 240-9316. 240-9316. Melinda, that will be next week. We're going to be open next week during our Sunflower Rain Boots Challenge. We are going, it does match my nails, look at that. We're gonna be opening for registration then, 240-9316. Thank you, Ada. Yes, what a great idea. What a great idea, Rennie. You are just full of all the goodness. All right, so here's this color. You know it's my fave. Super, super cool. So I am just gonna real quick get at least one coat of paint on the inside, and I'm gonna do my very best to avoid getting a bunch of paint on my hardware. So let's get that first so that I can go quickly with the rest. So we'll go around that hardware. And I'm gonna see if I can get it here. I might have to use a smaller brush to get right up against that side. So let's get the big parts. Thank you, Catherine. Let's get in there. Look at this color already. Is this not gonna be fabulous for storing those shells? All right, I gotta come this way real quick. I'll turn it back around in just a second, but I am too twisted to paint backwards. All right, now it'll be easy. Now the easy part. This blue is Bahama blue. I'm gonna get in the corners, the edges where the sides meet the bottom first. And that way we can make quick work of, this is covering really well on this raw wood. Now keep in mind, guys, when you are doing resin, I'm not gonna resin, I'll probably resin the inside, the bottom, maybe, you know, before it's all said and done. But anytime you do resin on wood, you need to put either a sealer or a couple of coats of paint so that the resin doesn't just soak up into the wood. So I'm gonna probably put at least 2 coats of paint on the inside so that if I decide to resin, the inside of the box, it won't just soak up all the resin. It'll still be nice and shiny. All right, so we're just gonna get the inside done really quick. I should have taken it outside and did a seal coat on it, because if you seal it with a sealer, either a brush-on sealer or a spray sealer, they won't soak up as much paint. But y'all know me, I'm rarely prepared. I was thinking I need to go live, talk about the challenge, last chance, you know, last minute, get joined up. And then I thought, what can I do? And then I wish they did too, Kathy. And then I saw these books tucked in a corner from when I bought them a couple weeks ago. And I thought, OMG, I need to do that book. So I was ill prepared. Maybe for the others, I will do that. It's just eating up that paint. Eating it up. I'm gonna have to put something on my paint tray to keep it from flying away. This color is fantastic. No snow. That just cracks me up, Gina, that you're over there having snow. Me and Catherine don't know what you're talking about. Let me scoop that up. All the southern folk were like, what? All right, almost done with the inside of this part. Let's do the inside lip. Can y'all see that? This is probably gonna take a whole bottle of paint. I know, I have gone into the Hobby Lobby so many times looking for something and just walk right back out because they didn't have it. And it's just frustrating. I mean, Michael's does it. There. All right, I'm gonna paint the inside lip. Yeah, me and the word prepared do not go hand in hand. Now, there are things that I'm prepared for, but most of them don't involve art. Most of them do not involve art, especially last-minute decision-making art. All right, I'm gonna get the inside on this side. So let's chat about some things too, because here's what I've been noticing lately. I've been seeing a lot of, I don't know why, it's hiding some messages that there is no reason for it to hide. I've been seeing a lot of fun glass and resin projects on the interwebs lately that are super cool. But I would like to, I'm not calling anybody out. I'm not saying anything negative about anybody or anything, because when people are doing glass and resin, it's just exciting to me. I always enjoy looking at that. But I have noticed a couple of things that I just wanted to chat about as well. Oh, that's right, Catherine. I don't blame you for that a bit. And I just want to talk about that and just, you know, kind of pick your brains and remind you of a couple of things before you start when you see some of these projects and think, oh, I'm going to do that. I want you to be prepared. I want you to have all the information, okay? So first off, ArtResin, in my opinion, and that's just my lowly little opinion, but I will tell you, I do have a ton of years of using many different resins over the course of the last 20 years, probably even longer than that. I've used so many different resins, and they are not all created equal. And I will tell you this, just because it is cheap don't mean it's good, all right? A cheap resin is oftentimes gonna be the worst decision. And I will tell you this, if you can't get an MSDS sheet for a particular brand of resin, if they do not have an MSDS sheet for that resin readily available for you to look at on the interweb, that's a problem, all right? That possibly means they can't back up what, I'm gonna just paint over that and then wipe it off. That was too hard. That oftentimes means that they can't back up their advertising, okay? So I do want to reiterate just a couple things. ArtResin is made in the United States, the United States of America. And they do offer and provide MSDS sheets for their products, which is super important in my opinion, especially when you are playing around with a chemical product. You want to see that MSDS sheet. You want to know that they have to stand up to what they are marketing, all right? Secondly, I've been seeing a lot of people advertising resin products that you can put outside in the sun. And that is going to be a major no-no, no matter what resin you are using, okay? Especially on a product that, if you're using a substrate that is not indoor-outdoor substrates, the weather is going to disintegrate your substrate, and the sun and change in temperature is going to jack with your resin too. It's gonna make it turn yellow. The heat will make it turn brittle and crack. So please, before you start spending your hard-earned dollars on a different resin or a product that somebody is telling you can hang outside, please keep in mind that that is not accurate. Sometimes people just don't know. And so my job is to let you know. And so that you don't waste your hard-earned dollars and then you end up with, even selling something that it doesn't hold up, right? And then somebody's mad at you because they paid you their money and now it's a piece of garbage. So please keep that in mind. There is no resin on the market that will hold up to being outdoors. Now, if it's a door hanger, like I've put resin on door hangers before and hung them on my door, but my front door is not in direct sunlight, and I don't keep them on my door like 24/7, 365, like when it's super cold outside or when it's 110 degrees here in the South. You just have to use some sense. And don't believe everything everybody tells you just because they're trying to sell you something. All right? So please keep all that in mind. I'm here to help and inform, and I wouldn't lie to you. All right? It doesn't help me a bit to blow smoke up your honey. So resin is not good outdoors. It will turn brittle. It will crack. It will turn yellow. And if it's not even on a substrate, yes, it is. But some of these companies are selling stuff from overseas, and they're not required if it's from overseas. All right, so just keep that in mind when you see something out there on the Book of Faces and you think, oh my God, that's such a cool idea. I want to try that. Keep in mind that resin is not an exterior product, and especially if you put it on something that's not exterior grade, all right? Love seeing everybody's creativity, but you have to also Be sensible about it. Yes, all resins are not the same. And I've learned that the hard way over the years too. You know, when I first started using resin, I was using some professional grade products and they still were not great. All right, I started doing some countertops. We got the inside done. Let's paint the top. They were not, no, Jody. The sun and resin products do not go well together, okay? So if it's on the inside of your house where you are temperature controlled, like it's in the house and it's not getting constant direct sunlight, yes, a sun catcher in the house would be great. Not outside, all right? It is going to turn yellow, it's gonna crack, it's gonna turn brittle, all that stuff. I had a friend asking about a resin piece she bought that was yellowing. I gave her the info about resin and why it might turn yellow. Yeah. Thank you, Becky. Aren't they cute? The little mixing cups are so precious. Those came from Amazon. Went straight to Hobby Lobby to get that box. That is hilarious. You go, girl. Yes. No resin should be exposed to direct sunlight, especially outside, exterior. Now, I have a piece of art that's been sitting in the window on the inside, in the window of my art studio for over a year, and it's perfectly fine. But it does not get direct sunlight exposure, and it's on the inside, so there is temperature control. And it doesn't have an ounce of yellowing in it, not a tiny little bit. Just be wary, you know, and use your noggin, and people are not always going to like share the correct information. And I'm not saying that they're being deceitful, but sometimes they just don't know. They find some cute little thing and then they start sharing it with the world and they don't really know, you know, that it's not the best way to use resin. All right? Yes, Elizabeth. Those sheets hurt your brain. They definitely hurt your brain. But I got used to reading them too when I first started using resin because I wanted to be like in the know. I wanted to know what I was using, especially in the beginning, because I was using some products that I'd never used before and that I wasn't sure about the health hazards and all that stuff. So I wanted to know what I was talking about before I started running that pie hole, right? We're almost done with the top, and then we're going to hit it with a little bit of heat from my heat gun so we can get that dry and start on. We'll paint the back, and then we're going to paint the front really, really pretty, right? And here's the thing too, Marla. If you are creating art to sell, the last thing you want is to be selling an inferior product. That is not going to bode well for your business. Skylight, oh yeah. Is it a bathroom you use a lot, Jane? The sun beating down will do that every time, but also if it's a bathroom that you rarely use, so it's always dark in there except for that skylight, that kind of can have a bearing on it as well. All right. Yeah, and make sure if you're using a resin, even if it's not art resin, because art resin's not cheap, but here's one of the things I love, is I like to teach you guys how to use art resin without like wasting so much. Because a lot of places will tell you, you know, to pour that on and just you know, use so much resin because they're trying to sell you resin. I want to sell you resin too, but I want to teach you how to use the resin and how to make it go longer. Y'all, I'm a penny pincher. I'm telling you that right now. You use it a lot, so it's basically the sun coming in. You got to be careful. The sun and the resin do not like each other. I'm going to get this dry so we can shut the box. And the fact that it's been in there for 5 years is pretty good. That's not a bad lifespan. All right, I think we're good and dry. Okay, so this is the top. We're gonna do it last because we're gonna make it super special. For the bottom, I think I am gonna rinse my brush. Actually, let me do something else real quick because I squirted out a lot. Well, I'm gonna use it for the top too. So I'm gonna use a darker color for the bottom of the box. This is peacock teal. Yes, Marla. I love teaching y'all how to save money now. Bonnie, the box came from Hobby Lobby. Okay, so this is a little bit darker. Absolutely, Marjorie, you can use a blow dryer instead of a heat gun. My suggestion would be, you know how it has variable speeds for the dryer, like high-low? You want to put the air on low and the heat on high, okay? So that's the key. So this is the bottom of the box. So I am going to paint the edges. I'm going to paint the bottom. No, I'm going to paint the edges first. I'm going to paint the little skinny edges all the way around with the peacock teal. And then we're going to paint the bottom. And I don't know how far, I don't know if I'm going to do the book edge or not, but let's go ahead and get this. And we'll do the edges second. Oh, I'm thinking. Are y'all thinking what I'm thinking? Well, I'm gonna try something. I'm gonna put a whole line of the peacock. Because y'all know I'm not a solid color kind of girl. I like to blend. So let's do a section. Then I'm gonna grab a little bit of the Bahama blue on my brush and let's just blend some of that in. Oh, yes. Yes, my queens, look at that. I'm loving that. Look at that. That's beachy right there. So let's do that in sections because it does want to suck up the paint and dry really fast. So it's gonna be hard to blend. Make sure I keep this in view. So I'm gonna do a section. Then I'm gonna grab some of the Bahama and just blend it in. Yes, love it. Let's keep going. These books are in the section in Hobby Lobby where all the raw wood stuff is. Steve's going to be so excited I'm painting this because we've had all the shells that we collected in, y'all are going to laugh, but they've been in like a Kroger bag. And he's like, can we put these somewhere else? Can we put these in something? I'm like, I'm not ready yet. I got to find the right thing. Look at that. That looks awesome. I think I am going to mask off. I'm going to grab some tape. And I'm going to mask off the book end, the side. Well, that didn't work out very well, but that's okay. so I can see the line of the book. Hoop hoop. Right here, press, and right here, press. So I am going to mask that off while I do the top. I'm going to take it all the way down the side. So I'm doing the side too. Mask it off. Mask it off. Thanks for the sprinkles. Press that down so we don't have seepage. And let's do another section. Start with the peacock teal. Get a nice coat on. Ugh. And then we'll throw some Bahama blue on top. I'm just gonna dip into the Bahama blue, and I'm gonna do it like this, and then just go left to right, all the way across, and kind of blend in some of the lighter color. I see a little something going on over here I'm gonna have to fix in a minute. Let me get some more peacock teal, and Bahama blue. Right up to my tape line. Here we go. And we'll grab some of that Bahama blue. And I'm going to do this first. Then I'm just going to go left to right all the way across so I don't have a start-stop line. And I see a little, the knot in the wood there kind of showing through. So I'm going to do a little quick second coat on that section to hide that knot. We do not want to see that knot. And we'll get a little Bahama blue again. And all the way, left, right, left, right. All right. Now, I'm gonna take this tape off. I'm gonna leave it there for 1 second. And I'm gonna get these skinny edges on the side, and I'm gonna paint them with the darker color, which is the peacock teal. Now, this is gonna take me a second, because look how tinsy-wincy that little thing is, and I gotta hold my breath and make sure I don't mess it up. So be patient. Give me a little bit of grace while I hold my breath and paint. Hold my breath. I'm gonna go this way. All right, one down. Need to make sure there's no seepage. All right, let's get the other side. Can y'all see that, what I'm doing? Can y'all see what I'm doing there? Yes. Ocean, y'all know I'm all about anything that has to do with the beach or the ocean. That is my happy place. And Steve is taking me to the ocean for my birthday because he made me go, well, we made a deal. He made me go to see the Grateful Dead. Hold my lips just right. Oh, that's so funny. Who said that? Hang on. Margaret. Oh, girl, me and you both. Me and you both. You know I love you more than wine. What was I about to say? I don't even know what I was talking about. All right. So we got a little paint on that edge. I'm going to peel that back so I have something to hold on to. Now let's do this edge, and then, actually I think, no, that looks like it's the raw edge, so it's really, really, really soaking that up pretty quick. So let's get this little bit painted. I don't know what the noise is that I'm hearing, but it sounds like horses on concrete. Is that not crazy? It sounds like a horse walking down the road, kind of like that clop, 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 clop sound. And I'm pretty sure there's no horses. I'm about to have to go look. It literally sounds like there's horses in my parking lot. That's crazy. Ooh, that was wet, and I just stuck my finger in it. So let's get this side. We're almost done. We're gonna dry it, and then we're gonna do some funness on the fronts. Funness, that's another Cindy art word. Y'all, that noise is making me crazy. All right, I gotta look. I can't stand it. It's so loud. I see nothing. No horses. There are no horses out there. I don't know where that noise is coming from. That's crazy. Dadgummit. Stuck my hand in it again. Same, Elizabeth. I know, I was so excited when Tamara said they were going back to Destin again. It's always a fun time. All right, let's do this. A little end, and this little end. And then I'm gonna hit this with my heat gun just to get it dry. And then we're gonna work on the front, which is the part we've all been waiting for, right? All right, let's get her dry, especially this. I don't know what it is, but it literally sounds like horses. You know how it sounds when their feet hit concrete? That's what it sounds like. Y'all know what I didn't do? Dagnabbit. Hang on. That's right, Judy. That's exactly what he's doing. That's what I was talking about when I got so distracted. Look, y'all, forgot to do these edges. Let's do those real quick. It's going to be easier to hold on to because of this. He wanted to go see the Grateful Dead. He had actually tried to sell the tickets. We couldn't sell them. And so I said, I'm not a fan. Love music, but I'm not a Dead fan. And he promised me, he said, if you go with me to Vegas to see the Grateful Dead at the Sphere, I will take you anywhere you want after your launch is over, after your challenge. And I was like, all day, honey, all day long, I will take that deal. So we are going to, of course, I had to pick, something fabulous because, you can't make that deal with me and expect me to pick the Bahamas or something. We are going to the Turks and Caicos, and I am thrilled. So excited. All right, now let's do this other side, and then we can get on with it. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. It sounds like horse hooves on asphalt. It's gone now, though, so I don't know if I'm losing my mind. That is a distinct possibility. Y'all, I'm making a mess. I'm going to definitely have to do some touch-up on the inside because I keep sticking my fingers on the inside and messing up what I've done. But I'm gonna have to second coat that anyway. So, all right, let me get this dry and then we'll start on the top. Oh, thank you, Lisa. Do we have one? Tell me their name and I'll find them. Clear kayak tour. Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. This dark blue is peacock teal. These paint trays came from the dollar store. They're just little styrofoam. I may have a troll. Let's see. Is it the, oh, it's the Lisa Manton's person, isn't it? Hang on. Hang on. I hate that. Yes, got it. We got her. Her, him, whoever. She went with him once already and she just wasn't ready. Thank you, Catherine. All right, so now we have our box. I don't know what I'm gonna do on the end yet. I think I am going to mask that off again and maybe do something special on the end. Got her. And so I'm gonna go ahead and mask that edge off again and we're gonna make a little beach scene on our front. All right, let's get that pressed down. You want to burnish that down really well so you don't get seepage. Yeah, she's blocked. She, he, whoever. See, I barely even read that and skimmed right over it and didn't realize that they were being trolly. It's been rampant these days, hasn't it? Okay, so the box opens this way, close to myself. So I blocked them from the page. So all you gotta do is block them. Okay, so we have both of the blue colors here on our palette. I'm gonna add a little bit of Prussian blue. This is a new bottle, so I'm just gonna open it this way. Let me move this off. We'll add a little bit of Prussian. That's a dark, dark, dark blue. And I'm gonna add a little bit of bleached sand. We'll add that to our palette. Let me scoot the palette over so you can see it. A little bit of bleached sand, that was too much, and some white. And I'm gonna have to rinse that brush to start from scratch. Did she say it to a bunch of people? See, I missed it. I was so busy worrying about horses in my parking lot that I missed the whole thing. That's hilarious. Hilarious. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. This is where it opens. See the hinges here? I'm gonna try to avoid those hinges as well. So I think I'm gonna take a little bit of this tape and just kind of wrap it on that hinge. Let me tear that a little more. There we go. And we'll do this one. Let me see if I can tear that smaller. And just block that a little. Okay, so this is how, this is gonna be my beachy area. Anyone who wrote anything got the same comment. Yeah, that was definitely a bot. So we're gonna do a light color here, and then we're going to do a dark color here, and then we're gonna blend it like water We're gonna start with our beachy sand color because then we can just we are all artists. We can just keep going. We'll get our beach in first. Don't make me make you recite the quote about being an artist. I need to get some more of those bookmarks made. And if you're coming to the live event in May here in my studio, you're going to have to repeat that every day. A budding one. We're all still budding artists. All right, I'm going to go about to here, to here. Let's fill in the middle. I can't wait to put some of the shells we've collected. So let me see what that says. I know the kit won't get here in time for Monday, and that's okay since I had major oral surgery yesterday. How are the kits? They are still available, Elizabeth. Go grab you one, and I will ship it in the morning. There are kits available. Go sign up. After you sign up, you're going to get an email from us. First, you're going to get a confirmation email. Then you're going to get an email with all the information about where to join the page. And it's going to have a link to a kit. And if you go do that now, Elizabeth, I will ship that out in the morning. So we'll get there super fast. All right, I'm not going to rinse that color out. I am just going to offload some of that into my napkin here. And at the top, I'm going straight in with the darkest of the blues. All right, so that is the Prussian, I believe. Yes, that is the Prussian. So I'm going to come up to the top, get right on that edge, right up next to that hinge. Let's do this side. Snug right up to that hinge. Now I'm going to do about a quarter of the way down, maybe to about right here, all right, with the Prussian. Sucking it up right there. I need more. Did not have enough. Yeah, report if you see a troll on your page or in any way in the comments on Facebook. First, report, then block. Because I don't know what good reporting them does, if I'm being 100% honest. But you should always report and then block so that they can't be in your business anymore. All right, let's see. I'm going to come across. And I'm not trying to be perfect. It is the horizon, and it should be pretty straight. But we don't do perfect here. All right, so now while that is wet, I'm going to go in, and with my dirty brush, I still have the dark blue. I'm going to go in right underneath, and I'm going to do a section of this color. Don't worry about blending it in to the top piece yet, because the wood is grabbing this paint. So we're going to do it a little different. Right, I know, right? It's just eating the paint. That's why you should seal. Don't be me. Seal it either with a brush sealer or spray sealer before you start painting, and it won't take 6 bottles of paint to do it. Okay, now that I have the dark blue and the medium blue, I'm gonna come right up next to that blue with the medium blue. I'm gonna offload onto my napkin. I'm gonna go back into the Prussian, and we're gonna blend those colors together. Okay, add a fresh line of Prussian. I'm gonna offload again, and then I'm just gonna come back and forth. That kind of melds those two colors together where it makes a softer line and not a hard line between your colors. See how we did that? It's a really nice transition. All right, so now I am going to offload that. And I'm gonna do the same thing with my Bahama blue. Still have that dirty brush. I have not rinsed it because we want all those colors married together. All right, so I'm gonna come in. I'm just gonna kind of start in the middle. We're just gonna get a nice coat of the Bahama blue on that middle section. Don't worry about getting close to the other colors yet. Prussian. It is Prussian blue. I'll tell you all the colors in a minute. All right, so get right up next to, I'm gonna snug right up next to my beach color. All right, so now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna glob on that paint, and I'm gonna get right next to that medium blue with a nice thick blend, offload that excess, and I'm gonna go back into the medium, and we're gonna hit that line again with the medium. Just add some fresh paint, offload again, and then I'm gonna go after it. Just blend them together. All right, blend up, blend down. Let me get a little bit of this. Oops, y'all. Bring it down, bring it across, blend it all together. Now, I'm gonna get a little bit, my brush is still icky. Hey, Judy. I'm gonna get some of that sand color, add it in. I'm gonna get a tiny bit of that Bahama blue, blend that in, and we're gonna do the same thing. Just kind of blend those colors together. You get a little bit more of the beachy color. So it all just kind of melds together, and there's no hard line between one color or another. I've got a little bit of blue on there. I'm gonna get a little white. I'm gonna rinse because I got some dark blue in my sand and I don't want it there. So this is a good practice for blending as well. If you struggle with blending, that was a good little practice session for that. I'm gonna get a little bit more of the bleached sand. And where I got a little blue down here, I'm gonna add a little bit of that bleached sand back. And I'm gonna grab a little bit of white, not too much, just a little, on, and add a little bit of white to the bottom of our sand. Then I'm gonna offload that a little. Here's what I'm gonna do. I wanna add some wave action in here, but I also need it to kind of be wet on wet. So I'm gonna take the medium blue, which is the middle tone. This is Bahama blue, light, the lightest. This is peacock teal, the medium, and Prussian is the dark. I'm gonna get a little bit of the peacock, and I'm just gonna side swipe it on in a couple of places. All right, then I'm gonna grab a little bit of white on the tip of my brush. Let's dab a little of that off. And see how I'm holding my brush? Not upright, but almost flat, almost like at a 90-degree angle, and just kind of skip across and make yourself a little bit of a wave. Just scooch. It's like an airplane. You want to land and take off. Land and take off. Let's get a little more. Let's come down here and we're going to land and take off. We're not doing all the way across. You want to land and take off. Land and take off. And add a few little beach waves. All right, I'm going to come up. Whoa, that was excessive. I'm going to get a little bit of that pressure back because that was a huge wave there. All right, I'm going to get a little bit of white again. And up here in the darker of the blues, I'm going to do a little bit of a wave again. And then you can tap with your bristles and just add where it looks like they're breaking. A little bit of break. All right, let me rinse. Hey, Margaret. Okay. Go see that boy, honey. All right. Now, I'm trying to decide if I want to do anything else. I don't really like this. It's a little harsh. So I'm just going to get a little of that Prussian and blend some of it out. And I'm going to get a little bit of white and a little bit of Prussian, give myself a little bit of a lighter blue, and add some swoops up at the top. Now, I don't know 100% where I'm going to add my glass bits or my shells or anything like that. Okay, you can print that, Barbara, in your, the card is also shows up in the guides, so you can print that off in there. And check underneath the canvas and see if it's there. All right, I'm gonna take this off. Let me see. Well, let's kind of get an idea of what this looks like. Y'all, look at that. Ugh, that fell in the paint. Right? Look at that. We got to figure out, we got to decide what to do on the end. I'm tempted to do like the bleach sand and white, and then maybe write something on the edge, or paint it just the Prussian. What do you guys think? Prussian or white, crusty, distress? Look how cute. Look, I'm gonna grab a brush and fix this little boo-boo while I have it open. While y'all tell me, gold? Oh, yes. Maybe I'll do Prussian and then put gold on top because the gold is gonna need something underneath. So maybe the Prussian and then dry brush a little gold. White sand. Got conflicting answers as usual. Always. We all have different opinions. That's why we can all paint the same thing, and it's going to be different always because we're all different. Nobody holds their mouth the same. And that's how your art piece looks different, is the way you hold your mouth. All right, I'm going to leave that open and let it sit for a second. Let's see, Prussian, gold, paint it golf. I'm going to assume that's gold. Light color with writing. Oh, Marla, that's sweet. It's from Hobby Lobby. The book is from Hobby Lobby, right? Where the shells are from. Oh, I should do that on the inside too. Put Cindy and Steve's travels on the edge or something. Okay. Leanna, I just didn't want to deal with it today. I don't like it, but I will use that overhead camera thing when I need to. But I just am not a fan. It's really hard to figure out where, It's hard to figure out. I'm going to dry this real quick so I can flip it. It's hard to figure out how to get your camera just right. So since we're painting a book, a little ocean book, I decided to just do it the regular way. And if y'all would all like complain to Facebook, maybe they'll give it back. That drives me crazy. Travel giblets. I love the hats. We're not talking about the virtual Marlis. We're not going to talk about that on this page, okay? Go ask in the Shattered Circle. Yes, that is true. It is really close to my head, and I feel like it's like right here in my face, and it's really quite disconcerting. All right, that's still a little wet. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Prussian and then hit it with gold and see how we like it, because you know what? It's paint, and whole time upside down. That's funny. I'm gonna paint it Prussian and then gold, and if we don't like it, it's just paint, we'll do it over. Right? We'll live with it till tomorrow, and we'll look at it tomorrow when we do our glass thing or our glass bits. And if we don't like it, we'll repaint it before we do our glass bits. So I'm going to paint this side with the Prussian, and then we'll flip it, we'll dry it, flip it, and go on the other side. So let me get a brush. Is it almost time for red coffee? What time is it? Oh, it is past time for red coffee. What? What? Oh, it was time for red coffee when we started, wasn't it? All right, so I'm just gonna paint this edge, then I'm gonna tape and flip it and do the other side, and then we'll hit it with gold. And if we don't like it, like I said, we can change it. That's the good thing about paint. It's never permanent, right? Go get one, Leanna. They are on sale for $4 and some odd. All right, so we got this side done. Now, I'm gonna hit that with some heat and get it dry. We're gonna pull that tape and get the other side. Becky got her some red coffee. I gotta wait till I get home because Steve's not here and we don't drink red coffee and drive ourselves home. 81 degrees, it's my kind of weather. Are you drinking, Marla, are you drinking Bailey's? Or white wine coffee? Because Bailey's sounds good too. I do love me some Bailey's. All right. Now, let's flip her. Oops. And we'll tape it off again. Right? Yeah, it seems like I always figure out something I need from Hobby Lobby on a Sunday, doesn't it? Isn't that always the way? It's like, darn. Is it Sunday? All right. Let's get this edge. I'm going to snug up to the hinge so I don't get it painted. I don't like that. Y'all can do y'all's if you want to, but I don't like painting the hinges. Sauvignon Blanc, I hear ya. White muscadine coffee. That sounds amazing. I think you meant white muscadine wine, didn't you? That's how dumb I am right now. Yep, a little challenged. A little challenged today. That does still sound good though. All right, let me flip it open. We'll get that edge. Then we're gonna get it dry. I need more. Kettle vodka espresso. Oh, Leanna. That sounds amazing. Ouch. Let's get this. Almost done. We'll get this dry. We'll add the gold and then see how we feel. And then we're gonna finish this tomorrow because I have Easter duties this evening and I'm not gonna have time to finish it. So it'll give us time to decide if we love it or not. All right, let's put that up. Let's get her dry. Arizona? What are you talking about? It's, no, you're pulling my leg, Lena. You're pulling my leg. I know you've got to be pulling my leg, snowing in Arizona. I'm not sure, Marjorie, but if you are in our text app, because I got to make food tomorrow too, but I will be here. Okay, I'll tell you what. I have to be here in the morning to ship orders out. So if you order a kit today, I will be shipping that out tomorrow. And I have to have those to the post office by 11. So I'll probably go live after that. So maybe right around lunchtime. Is Sedona snowy? All right, so I do love that blue on the end. Now I don't know if I want to add the gold, but we're going to do it anyway because if we don't like it, we can paint over it, right? So we're going to start on this side again. We're going to put that tape back right up next to that blue. It's not a bad job for an old girl. Lake Havasu is raining. All right, I'm gonna grab some metallic gold. Let's see what we got. Splendid Gold, my favorite. That is Deco Art Splendid Gold Metallic. If we don't like it, we are gonna just paint over it tomorrow. Is that lovely? All right, I'm gonna get a fresh brush because I don't want it wet. Fresh brush. Aw, you can watch the replay, Becky. Oh, y'all. Oh, y'all. Uh-oh. I'm kind of digging this more than I thought I would. We'll see though. We gotta get the whole thing done and then peel the tape. But so far, I like that I can still see some of the blue ghosting through. You see what I mean? You can still see the blue underneath. I'm digging that. I'm gonna get fresh paint. or fresh tape, sorry. Snowing in Flagstaff? I didn't realize it ever snowed in Arizona. Shows what I know. I'm gonna tape off that section again. And let's get this edge. Oh, I'm kind of digging this, y'all. I'm anxious to get the tape off so we can see. That looks pretty good. I had no idea that that was a thing. Snowing in Arizona. Shows what I know. Shows what I know. All right. One thin layer of gold on the dark blue. Let's peel the paint. Peel the paint. Let's don't peel the paint. Get 1 or 3. Exactly. I bought 3. I got a little bit of gold. That was not the right color. Here we go. And let's peel this side. I like the gold too, I think. Let's hold off. Oh, y'all. Oh, yeah. I do like the gold. I did get some down on the blue. Let me see if I can hold my breath and fix that. And it still has a little bit of gold on the brush, but I don't mind. Blend it out. Y'all, I think I'm gonna like this, but we'll hold judgment till tomorrow. But look at that. That's pretty cool. Look what I did, y'all. Dadgummit. Let me get a Gina wipe. Get a Gina wipe. See if I can get that off without tearing up the whole thing. Let's see. I don't want it to all come off. I just want that gold gone. Oh, there. Here we are. Perfect. Love these wipes. Look at that. Love it. Now, come on, y'all. What do you think? I'm going to turn it this way so you can see it the correct way. So I think that tomorrow, I will probably, while I'm waiting on the post office to pick up, I'll probably put a second coat on the inside and maybe do a little sealer. And tomorrow we're going to come back. Let me unhide that. Tomorrow we're going to come back and I'm going to show you all this, some of the shells and stuff that I'd like to use. And we're going to figure out how to put some shells that we have found in our travels and some glass maybe. And we'll put it down here at the bottom so that we can open the book when we need to. You don't want to put it close to the hinge side. You want to put it like this way. So we'll come back tomorrow around lunchtime. I will send a text and we'll come back tomorrow and figure all of this out. So here's our box. We painted it like a nice little beach. I have masked off my hinges with some blue tape, but I'm going to be super cautious about not getting resin on my hinges because here's what's going to happen. If we resin those hinges, the book ain't going to open. It's going to be an unopened book. So what I want to do next is I don't want any of that resin to drip off the side and then get onto the bottom of my book. So what I'm going to do for now, I don't know what's wrong with this tape. I'm going to take some tape and I am going to mask that off just like this. And that's going to keep it, when I close it, it's gonna have that little rim, and any resin is going to like land on that rim instead of sticking down here on my bottom half of my book. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of tape around. You can also tape like this. Tape like this. But I know myself, and I know I'm gonna get my hands in that sticky tape, and I'm gonna be moving around and pulling it, so I'm gonna just do it this way. Do what works. Do what works for you. Then I'm gonna show you some of my shells. Some of my shells that we're gonna apply are shells that Steve and I have picked up along the way of our attempt to see every beach in the Caribbean. And some of them are shells that have been gifted to me, and the starfish is actually something I purchased. Super hard to find a starfish on the beach, right? Super hard. All right, so that's all masked off, so none of that resin is going to drip. I might need one more piece right there. It's gonna drip on the bottom portion of my book. And now I'm gonna tape off the gold. So I don't get resin on the gold, because once the resin's dry and we make a decision, well, hang on. When I opened the book, it moved my hinge tape. Oh my goodness. Are we still good? Are we still good? We still good, guys? Y'all are quiet, or either I'm off camera again. All right. So now I'm gonna tape this off too. And then once it's all finished, we'll pick something to personalize it with. Yes, thank you guys. Thanks for letting me know. I always get worried once things start freezing up and Facebook starts kicking me off, or the internet starts kicking me off. I always get worried that I'm halfway through the project and nobody saw a thing. That would be terrible. All right, so now we have the bottom of the book masked off, and I have my spine masked off. Hey, Maria. And we're ready to do our thing. Okay, so let me show you a couple of the things that I brought to the dance. I don't know why I always say that. Bring stuff to the dance. First off is this big starfish. I love starfish. Y'all know, I just love the beach. And this is a product of the Philippines, apparently. But we're gonna add that somewhere along the lines. And then some of these, this I know for sure is pieces. Look at this, partial sand dollars. These are some pieces that Steve and I have picked up in our shelling, okay? The rest of this stuff, this kind of a purple shell, and these shells, and these little blue thingies, and this thingy that looks like it's part of, oops, that looks like it's part of a giraffe. These are all things that were gifted to me and or I just picked up somewhere. All right, so we're going to try to figure out where we want to put what. And y'all might have to keep reminding me, hey, Judy, that the shells go in the sand and not in the top, because it's upside down for me so that it can be right side up for you. All right, so I have some clear classic glass, and I'm gonna mostly be putting all this stuff kind of in this general area because I wanna still be able to open my book, and I also am gonna just barely put any resin up here at the top. All right, so most of our stuff is gonna be down here in the sand area. Yeah. All right, so I am gonna just take some of this clear glass and I'm gonna remove some of the bigger bits. I wanna stick to small bits so it doesn't weigh it down a lot. All right, so let's get, that's a massive piece. let's get, there's another massive piece. Let's get some of this glass just stuck up in here. And I'm gonna bring it up a little bit. And I'm not gonna get too close to the edge either. But I'm gonna bring it up a little bit into the water here. And I may need just a smidgy more. Hey, Dottie. And let's see, maybe a few more here. I'm trying to look at it on the screen so I can see what we got going on. Just a few more little nubs since I got them in my hand. All right, so now that I have my glass kind of placed, I want you out. I am going to add some of my, hey Donna, some of my shells, all right? So I do know that I want to add these shells that Steve and I found. This is a really big shell, so we're gonna need to resin underneath it as well as on top, but I'm just gonna place it for just so, I may actually, let's do something else. I may actually put it over here and then like put this over here and then put the other shells there. I think I like that idea better. Yes, because both of these pieces need to be on top of the resin so they don't discolor. So look how cool this little thing is. Is that not, it's kind of a skeleton of a shell. Super, super cute. So I do want to use that and some of these bits for sure that we've picked up. So I'm gonna just start laying out, wiggling in, come on man, wiggling in some of these shells. And I'm gonna use this blue thing. Some of these are bluer. This is, I don't know what any of these shells are called besides the starfish shell. So that has a little hint of blue. Do you see that on the inside? Super cute. So I'm gonna stick that in there. And I'm gonna skip that. I'm gonna probably add this over here. And I'm gonna flip it this way so I can kind of see it, and I'll turn it back so I can kind of visualize what it's gonna look like. All right, I think we'll add this over here. I'm gonna flip it back around in just a second. And maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe that. And this to me is a little big. I don't kind of like it. So maybe just something like that. And another little tiny blue one. All right, I'm digging that. I'm digging it. Let me turn it back around. A limpet. Thank you, June. Thank you. A limpet. These are so cute too, aren't they? I love them because the inside is blue. Limpets. These are just fragments of shells. This one is so thick. But we'll do something with that another time. Thank you for the sprinkles, Sue. All right, so now what we're gonna do, I'm gonna move these off because I'm gonna lay these in later. We're gonna go ahead and mix up some resin and get this resined and try to decide how much resin I want to mix. I think I'm gonna mix, I think I'm gonna mix. I'm so undecided. I feel like I'm only gonna need about a ½ an ounce, but I'm gonna go ahead and mix up an ounce because I do have something over to the side that I need to resin, and so I can use the leftover for that. right, so I'm gonna grab a pen and I will let you know exactly how much it took so that you'll know if you do this for yourself. Thank you, Catherine. So I'm gonna use a bigger cup because I'm gonna mix an ounce. And I don't wanna do it in an itsy bitsy cup. And heck far. Hang on. I'm out of itsy bitsy cup, or big cups, so let me use this. So let's mark it at the 1/2 ounce. And then the 1 ounce because we're using ArtResin and it's a 50-50 mix. So we're gonna use 50% hardener, 50% resin. 50-50. So we're gonna get our gloves on. We're always using our gloves. Anytime you're playing with resin, you need to use your gloves. Let's see. Let's get these suckers on. All right, so we're gonna start with hardener. Always start with the same part because it keeps me in line so I don't have an accident, because I have put hardener in twice, I've put resin in twice, I have mixed it wrong a million times. So I have become a creature of habit, and I'll always put my hardener in first so that if I get distracted and I know something's in the cup and I'm not sure which, if you always do the hardener first, then you know it's the hardener. So if I got distracted and had to walk away and I came back and I was like, oh gosh, what was that, resin or hardener? And because if you put resin on resin, it's never curing, right? So I always do hardener and then I do my resin. So I don't have boo-boos, because the older I get, the more likelihood that could happen. Y'all, I busted my tail today, skipped my knee in the back parking lot. I was kind of, it was when I got here and realized I had forgotten they were having that craft thingy, that event today, and it kind of shook me up a little, and because I had my whole day plotted and planned, and I slipped on some, like there was a little bit of gravel on the asphalt, and I slipped in the gravel and busted my tail. I fell, skipped my knee, hurt my hip, hurt my pride. It was kind of embarrassing, but nobody saw it but Steve, and he didn't laugh. He just said, are you okay? Kind of thought he'd laugh. So anyway, we're gonna mix this for 3 minutes. Scrape the sides, scrape off your stir sticks, scrape across the bottom, scrape the sides, scrape your stick. All right, we're gonna do that for 3 minutes very gently. We're not gonna whip it like meringue on banana pudding. And because that's gonna make a bunch of air bubbles. That's right, Catherine, busted it. And I am too old to be falling in the parking lot, right? Terrible, terrible. Lord have mercy. So we're gonna just keep stirring for 3 minutes, and Catherine is gonna let me know when we're done. That was a big old yawn, and y'all missed it. You missed it. Too old for that is right. Too old. Stir, stir, stir. Does anybody have any questions about the Shattered Circle, about Art Shattered, about ArtResin, about the box, about the Sunflower Challenge? I am here to answer any question you might have. And tell me. Broken wing, it does stink, don't it? Way too old, because at our age, we don't heal the way we used to. We do not heal. So I have another question. I'm glad I didn't either, Louise. So yesterday we talked about different types of resin and how you should be cautious about what resin you purchase. And, you know, I always recommend ArtResin. I believe in it. They don't pay me to say that. I was using it way before I started telling you guys to use it. Thank you, Christine. And, but I think it is the safest resin on the market, and it is actually made in the United States. So we know what goes in it. We know what it is. And so I kind of gave you a little heads up about buying cheaper resins. But you know what? Here's the thing. You're going to do you. Thank you, Catherine. I'm going to give it one more swirl since I was running my mouth and not stirring. You know, you got to do whatever it takes, whatever you need to do for yourself and whatever resin you need to buy. I'm not dogging on any of that, but what I am saying is hot cottonwood shredding. Are the cottonwood trees shredding cotton? Yeah, my grandfather used to say that too. So, anywho, what I was saying is just make sure that you know what you're using. If it's from a company that does not provide an MSDS sheet, then it's probably got something in it that you don't need to be breathing in. Right? But speaking of breathing in, I've been seeing a lot of people, and I actually saw something on Pinterest as well about the spoons. And while I think melting the spoons and making petals is fantastic, I did post something today just to give people a heads up about doing it without a mask on, or doing it in a place that doesn't have good ventilation, because the material that plastic spoons are made of is toxic when it melts. It gives off toxic fumes, and, you know, people showing how to craft with that without telling you the dangers of what could happen, and not using masks or ventilators or whatever, I'm going to move that for 1 second, is not smart. You know, I like to try to tell you if we're doing something that I feel like you should be taking care, you know, or using a mask for. And I tell people all the time, if you are sensitive to chemicals and if you are sensitive to resins, then you have to do what you have to do to make sure you stay healthy, okay? I would never come on and do a project with you guys and not give you the warnings, okay? Spoons, plastic spoons, make beautiful petals, but if you're gonna make those, you need to take the precautions needed. Sorry, I got sidetracked. You need to take the precautions to protect yourself, okay? To protect your lungs, to protect your family. And I did post, I looked up some of the things that plastic spoons are made of, and I talked about, and I posted about using, doing it outside, and using make sure you have plenty of ventilation, and making sure that you know, you're protecting your hands from the heat. Just be smart, okay? And yes, it is slightly irresponsible for someone teaching a craft not to tell you that. Yeah, and I find that, you know, and I don't think anybody does that on purpose. I think it is just, they don't think about it, or, you know, it's not, they just don't think about that. And I don't think anybody has any intentions of doing anybody any harm, obviously. Nobody wants that. But to me, if you're doing something like that, you have to take that into consideration. All right, so we've got all our resin here. I'm gonna take my fingers real quick and just hit, and make sure that edge is done. I'm gonna bring that up here, down here. So anyway, I say all that to say, just take precautions. Read that post that I posted this afternoon about, and I did post it in the group a few days ago, but since I've been seeing it everywhere lately, I wanted to just make sure you guys take care of yourselves. You know, you're the only you there is, and we want you to be healthy and safe, all right? So there's that. I'm off that bandwagon. All right, I'm just gonna drizzle a little bit more. And y'all, I almost used this whole ounce. I've got about 1/4 of an ounce left. I'm gonna just spread it around. And the closer I get to my hinges, the lighter I'm gonna spread it. I might actually grab an old icky paintbrush that should probably be thrown away anyway, so that I can get in here, but not mess up. So let me see what I have. Let me see what I have. That probably needs to go in the garbage anyway. Let's use this. It's kind of small. So if you use a bristle brush for resin, that's trash, okay? You are not gonna be able to reuse that. I'm gonna get a little bit more, and then I'm gonna use that brush to get really close to the hinges without touching them. All right, so I'm just gonna use this brush. And I don't wanna get all the way to the top of the book either, because I wanna be able to open it. I don't wanna glue it together, because then it would be moot. We would still have no place to store our saved seashells. So don't hit the crack. Stay away, stay away from crack, friends. I should have probably put a piece of tape in the midst of that, but I'm just gonna be careful not to hit that. So here's what I would suggest if you're doing this for yourself. Take a piece of plastic before you close it and put it in between where that little crack area. When you open the book, you'll be able to slip a piece of plastic or a piece of tape in there, so you don't have to worry about like what I'm doing right now. You don't have to worry about whether you glue your book together. I got a little bit of a crack in my book right there, so I'm gonna fill it with resin. And I think we're done. I used all but, I have less than 1/4 ounce left, so I would still say to make a full ounce, especially if you're adding more glass and resin than I did. And let me see, got a little skippy. And I almost always use less than everybody else anyway. So an ounce is probably good. I'm checking for skippies. I think that was it. All right, now, oh, did I go away again? Huh, it's freezing. I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna hit this with my heat gun before I put my other bits on. Get those bubbles popped. Right. I'm gonna make sure I don't have any resin or anything on my hands before I touch my starfish, because I don't want to get any debris. So I'm gonna take my little, oh my gosh, my little sand dollar and just lay it right there. And then I'm gonna take my starfish and I'm gonna lay it right here and make sure it's touching things that have resin. So it's touching that shell right there that has resin, and it's touching that hunk of glass there, and those 2 feet, one of them is touching there, so that should hold properly. All right, so check that out. And we're gonna leave the tape on until tomorrow. See some bubbles coming up, and it's probably because of the wood. So I'm gonna hit it with heat one more time. And I think, let me turn it around towards me for a second, because I might add something else. I might add, why does that keep bubbling? What is happening right here? It's probably soaking up the wood, soaking up a little bit, because it probably didn't have enough paint there. All right, I'm thinking, let me see about some bubbles. What do you guys think? Yes, a dark background will show the boo-boos or skippies or dust particles easily. I'm wondering, I have some bubbles, but I'm wondering if I have something that is similar to bubbles, but maybe a little smaller than the bubbles. I don't think I do. I don't want to use glitter. Actually, what I could use is seed beads. Seed beads. Seed beads for the win. That's what we'll use. So I'm going to take these crystal luster seed beads. I'm just going to sprinkle some into my project. Oh, I already had some in a little cup there. Lord have mercy. Right? So I'm going to just sprinkle some of those seed beads. So it's kind of like the foam from the waves. Let's just sprinkle some of that in. Oh, I was worried about that. I mean, I was kind of hoping that that wouldn't happen, but the sand dollar is so thin and fragile that it is soaking up some of that resin. So we're gonna do a little something. I'm gonna take my starfish back off, put it on my glove, and I'm just gonna saturate that because I don't want it to be half resined and half not. Because what happens is it starts looking like it's wet when it's in the water. And so if it's gonna look wet, I want the whole thing to look wet. So I'm gonna add just some resin to the top of that. So it's at least it's uniform. I was hoping for that not to happen, but I should have known better. Should have known better. We're just gonna cover that sand dollar. You could seal it before you start, but again, that would take pre-planning. We all know that's not in my vocabulary. All right, so now we got resin on the top. It's gonna be all the same color now. And we'll put our starfish back on the top. All right, so we'll go like that. So now it's touching, everywhere it's touching is gonna hold it on. All right, now let me turn it back around. I'm gonna add, I got distracted by my sand dollar and didn't finish my beads. There, voila. All right, let's look at this. How cute is that? Is that not the perfect little box to store found seashells? And think about this, guys. And think about this for like Christmas. You could totally, now my brain's on fire. You could totally do a cute little Christmas scene on a box like this and then put like a small little present on the inside, and that could be your gift. You could totally personalize and make these as gifts for baby showers, birthdays, you know, just whatever. Holidays, Father's Day, Mother's Day, any day. You could totally personalize that. I'm gonna add A little more too. And now I'm going to be wanting to do a book box for every season. That's going to be my new obsession. I'm going to have to go today before 8 o'clock and get me some more book boxes. Is that not adorable? I stinking love it. The glare from my light makes it look like there's a moon, doesn't it? Do you see the moon? There's no moon. That's just my light glare. I'm going to get a wipe to clean my hands because I got a little sticky. Yes, would that not be cute? You could do something completely seasonal. You could do the beach with a Christmas tree. You could just do a Christmas tree. You could do a seahorse. You could do a snowman. Yes, you could do supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. There is no limit.